Hi everyone, my name is Anita Ladhani. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and an energy practitioner. And today I want to talk to you about our self-worth, our self-esteem, our sense of who we are as individuals. So what defines our sense of self? Who am I? Who am I on days that I feel good about myself, and who am I on days that I don't feel so good about myself? What makes me feel that I'm worth something? We all have, different things that contribute to our sense of self. So some of us, define who we are and get our sense of self by the clothes that we wear, the way we style our hair, the homes that we own, the cars that we drive, the jobs that we do, right? So what defines you? Is that who you are? And what happens when you get sick, or you're not able to fix your hair, or you can't afford your high fashion, or you don't own the fancy cars, or you're not able to live in those fancy houses? Who are you if you're not your belongings? And then, some of us get our sense of self not so much by the material, but by what we do, right? So I know that I get a lot of my sense of self by this, what I'm able to work, when I'm working with people, when I'm able to be of service to people, when I'm able to help people. I feel really good about myself. It's a very altruistic, selfish sort of, reason. So, but when I'm not working with people, then I wonder, who am I then? Am I still worthy if I'm not being of service, if I'm not my job, right? If I'm not a, manager, or if I'm not the whatever it is that you're doing. And it's really interesting because, there are days that I'm just human like everybody else. There are days that, I am doing great. Like today was a really long 12.5 hour workday. I work in an emergency room. My average patient's evaluations are 2 to 4 patients. Today I had 10. And in spite of having 10, and I'm hearing some pretty intense stuff, I still, felt great. So what was different about today versus, where's, stop it, Kavi. What is different about today versus, the last week when I had 6 patients and the stories were just as sad, but I was just depleted and drained, and I questioned, was I worthy? Was I bringing, making a difference? Who am I? What am I doing? And it's, I think about these things. I'm the weirdo that sits and, thinks about these things when I'm driving home going, what is it that makes me feel good about who I am and what I'm doing? Is it because I was able to make a difference? Is it because my hair looks cute today and my makeup looks cute? What is it? And I'll tell you, I don't really know the answer to this. I'm just asking the questions with all of you guys. But one of the things that, I'm asking myself this question a lot these last few weeks, especially since the last retreat, is, where does my sense of self come from? When have I succeeded? When have I, felt like, okay, I am worth something? Is it when I've run a successful retreat? Or is it when I have so much money in my account? What when my bank account starts to go down and then I go into panic mode, right? What do I need for me to feel like I'm enough? And I don't know the answer to that. I'm just asking, I'm simply asking the question. One of the things that I had experienced after the retreat was that, I had everyone fill out evaluation forms, right? And out of the, 33 of us, 27 were staff members out of the students. So 27, I think 25 of them filled out evaluation forms. And out of the 25 evaluation forms, they were just, they gave logistical feedback. Sure, the 2 houses was tough, and, we had the traveling back and forth between the houses hard, yada, yada, yada. But for the most part, overall, the feedback was amazingly positive, right? And of course, we all like to hear good things. So it was important to know what we did right. But there was one evaluation form that was particularly very, very honest and critical in their feedback. One out of 25 that people turned in. And for weeks afterwards, and again, I don't know who that evaluation came for because they were anonymous, but for weeks after, I solely focused on that one very critical, very negative evaluation form. I tried, to figure out, I took it in a positive light, but it was all logistical stuff that, we couldn't have avoided, and we learned from it. But it was written very harshly versus the other ones. And I was watching a Brene Brown thing the other day, and I love her videos. And, she talks about how human nature is that, we have 99 positive comments and one little criticism, and we will focus on the one criticism and magnify that and completely ignore the 99 amazing, positive feedback that we received. And I did the exact same thing. And I had to catch myself, but I spent a couple of weeks of, fumbling with this internally until I finally sat with myself and I went, you know what? I'm not going to please everyone. This was a first retreat. And how interesting that I'm sitting and focusing my attention on one negative evaluation form, which was all logistically based. We learned from it. But I focused on one versus celebrating the 25 others and, the 32 others that were so positive. And a quote that, Brene Brown uses, and that came to me in mind, and I have it actually, I have these two quotes on my day minder, and it's, one is Marianne Williamson, Our Deepest Fear, and the other one is The Man in the Mirror. And I want to read the Man in the Mirror quote to you. It's by President Theodore Roosevelt, and he said, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." And what I get from this quote, is brings it back to who am I, right? Am I my failures or am I my successes? I don't think I'm either, right? But that's how we define ourselves. We define ourselves by our successes. We define ourselves by our failures. And I think the couple of things that come to mind when it comes to this quote is, first of all, be the man in the arena. Be someone who's actually fighting the fight, who's doing the work. If you're going to be the man in the arena, you're going to get dirty. You're going to get blood. You're going to get sweat. You're going to have people talking smack about you because you're an easy target. It's easy to stand on the sidelines and criticize someone who actually has the courage to get up there and do stuff, right? So that's one. Ignore them. If you're not in the arena doing the work with me, like Brene Brown says, I'm not interested in your feedback. Sure, I'll take the criticism and I'll learn from it and I'll improve it the next one I do. But I'm not going to take it personally because, not everyone's going to like me. Not everyone's going to agree with what I have to say. That's just life, right? But doesn't mean I go around, complaining and throwing everyone under the bus and criticizing everyone. No, everyone has a right to their opinions, and it's okay to disagree. You don't have to agree with me. But also, I have to understand that who I am, I'm not perfect, I'm completely imperfect. But it's okay to be imperfect because only God is perfect, right? So either way, it's okay. Just, the fact that you get up in the morning, the fact that you have the courage to face life, the fact that you're authentically, showing up, the fact that you're facing whatever it is that God is bringing you, life is bringing you, that courage that it takes to show up and go through each day. And some days we'll do our best, and some days we'll do 50%, and some days we'll be lucky if we do 10%. And it's okay. Let's not let our successes and or our failures define who we are. But let's get quiet and centered and realize that we are ultimately children of God. And this brings me to the next quote, which I will read and I'll end with. Marianne Williamson, our deepest fear is the quote. You can Google it. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is in each of us, that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. This is such a powerful quote that has been the guiding force for my life since I was a teenager. And of course, I keep forgetting it. And therefore, like the nerd that I am, I have it, literally pasted, printed and pasted on my calendar because I read it all the time. Anyways, thank you. Love and light. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.